Alrighty, we are back with our final guest of the day, head coach for GCU men's basketball, Dan Majerle. He's brought the energy for sure. And I know you guys had a lot of energy on Friday night at Midnight Madness. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was our 7th one. Great again. It was Jurassic Park, so another themed with some dinosaurs out there, and the Havocs brought it again, so it was a great start. We have 9 new players this year, so it was a first peak for some of our guys who haven't been in front of the Havocs, and they were excited.
Who had the best dance?
We didn't do any dancing this year, thank goodness.
Dancing.
No dancing. We left that all to the students, and they did a great job. I actually got in the crowd and pulled a hammy, but that was fine too.
And I heard you rode out in a
Jurassic Mobile, yeah, it was
gotcha.
good. Nicole, the women's coach, and I were on the back, and then we went up and celebrated with the Havoc. So they do a great job at GCU of setting that off, and our players really appreciate it.
I was expecting you to be in a T-Rex costume. I'm a little disappointed.
I am too. I was in last time I was in a Stormtrooper costume, and it ripped. I did a Fat Amy. I went from the ceiling, and as soon as I went down, I ripped from there to there. And I mooned everybody, so it was great. So yeah, so I was banned from ever propelling again, so it was good.
Well, let's talk about the team a little bit now. I know you guys did a boot camp and they went swimming.
We did. We did a 2-day boot camp. The first day was out on the baseball field, and the second day was in the deep end of the pool, and that was a lot of fun to watch. We had a couple guys that didn't know how to swim, but by the end of the day, they were fine with it. I thought it was great for our guys. They really bonded well.
I was going to say, what kind of activities do you really feel like bring out that team bonding, both on and off the court?
Well, I think that activity was great for them because it makes them lead each other. These guys that were leading it kind of put it on them. And it took them, the first thing we had to do a 16-minute drill. And if they weren't doing it right, the guy stopped it over. And that first 16-minute drill took an hour and a half. So our guys kind of learned after that they really have to police themselves. They have to monitor each other, coach each other, and that's going to feed off to when we're playing, because you don't always want to be a coach-led team. You want your team to lead each other, and we really developed some leadership out of that program.
Alessandro Labor lost 20 pounds this summer. Was that part of a plan, or did that just kind of happen?
Well, he's from Italy, so he goes home, eats a lot of pizza and pasta, and I told him he can't do that anymore. I think his mom's mad at me. But he went home and he stuck with his diet. He came back. He's a hard worker. He's always in the gym, and he's really concentrated on changing his diet. And he's lost about 25 pounds. He looks great.
He was saying he can jump higher and run faster than last year.
Very athletic.
Is that true?
Very athletic. Alessandro's as athletic as he can be, but he does look really well. He hasn't lost any strength. He moves really a lot faster. He gets up and down the floor. So I think it's really going to help him in the long run as far as his minutes.
Over Thanksgiving, you guys are going to the Virgin Islands for Paradise Jam. What kind of benefits do those tournaments bring? It's
exciting. We had a great tournament last year. Our guys get up for it. It's an early chance to play against in a tournament setting, get some really good teams. So our guys are excited about it. Get to go to the Virgin Islands. It'll be a good test for us. We have some really good teams in that tournament.
Not a bad way to spend Thanksgiving.
No, it's great. Yeah, our guys are going to love it.
And you have 3 guys on your team that have been playing together since they were kids. Do you feel like the connection is still there between all of them?
They are. The good thing is I have those 3 guys, but I only have 3 guys that are returning from last year's team. So I actually have 9 new players. So they're learning me. I'm learning them. But Carlos and Javon and JJ all have been played, since they've been young. So they have a bond. So those guys really know each other. But it's about us as a team getting to know each other and what we can do. We have a totally different team than we did last year. We had one of the bigger teams in the whole country last year. This year we're more on the smaller side, a lot of guard-oriented players. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
How do you get new guys to buy into the new system?
It's pretty easy. If they don't buy in, they're gone. And they know that when I recruit them. There's high expectations and standards set at GCU. When I recruit them, I tell them what we're about, what we need to do. And that's why most of them, if not all of them, come there, is because of the high expectations. And from our president down to our student body, you guys see our crowd, you know what they expect, and we want to continue to win. We've won 20 games the last 4 years. We've been to the WAC finals our 2 years eligible, so it's pretty easy to buy into that situation.
All right, I'm going to pass it on down to the media for you, Coach.
So
Can you state your name, please, and where you're from?
You mentioned a couple of these players already, but can you just tell us about Carlos Johnson, Alessandro, and Oscar, and just what you expect out of those 3 this year?
I expect a lot of them. Those are the 3 guys that have been tournament tested. Oscar's been there since the beginning. He started as a freshman. This will be his last year. He's got a lot to prove. Alessandro, we already talked about the way he's worked and lost weight. He came into last year preseason player of the year in his estimation, and I think in everybody's estimation he had a down year. He took that to heart. He's really battled back this summer, and as we said, lost the weight and really worked on his game. I expect him to have a monster year this year. And then Carlos really came on at the end. And again, this is his senior year. He's going to be a guy that we have to go to and look to score for us and be a leader. And I think he's excited for the year.
Coach, there's been a lot of buzz about your transfer from TCU, Jalen Fisher. What kind of impact will he have this year?
It's yet to be seen. Jalen is an ultra competitor. We're excited to have him. He's a great kid. When he's on the floor, he changes the whole game with his attitude, how hard he plays, his love of basketball, wants to stay in the gym. So hopefully we'll get him on the floor, and when he's on the floor, he's going to be a game changer.
Just for clarification, did Jalen get a waiver then, so he will be?
We're in the process of doing that now, so we should know in the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
It's a guard-heavy league this year. How excited are you about your depth at guard compared to some of the other teams in the WAC, and how that'll benefit you, through WAC play?
Yeah, I'm excited. We got guys that sat out last year. Isaiah Brown was a Northwestern transfer who got to sit out all of last year. We got Mikey Dixon that was at St. John's. He won't be eligible to the second half of the year. As we talked about Carlos, Jalen. I'm very excited about Javon Blackshear, a local kid out of Phoenix who won 4 state championships, a 4-star recruit that's going to be really, really good. So, as I said, it's a different team than we had last year. We were really big last year. So I'm excited to see how it's going to work. It's a work in progress. Our goal is to be playing our best basketball come WAC season, and hopefully we can do that. But for me, it's about learning our players and what's the best situation to put them in to be successful.
You had 2 new assistant coaches, including veteran head coach Marvin Menzies, who's familiar with the WAC. How do you feel that will help your program as far as recruiting and in game time situations?
Since I've been in Grand Canyon, I've had terrific assistant coaches. And I think I've done a good job. We've done a good job of adding these 2 guys. First, Marvin Menzies, as you talked about, did a terrific job at New Mexico State. Really helped build that program, won some championships, was at UNLV for 2 years. Brought him along to help in recruiting and coaching. Really excited about what he's been able to do, his work ethic, his personality. I think it meshes. It's different than mine, but I think that's really good. I'm excited about what he brings. And then Isaac Chu, who's been at a lot of different high major situations at Murray State when they won championships. He's seen it all and won a lot of championships. And he's an addition that not only in recruiting, but is really going to help me in the coaching aspect and see another set of eyes out there. So along with Chris Crevalone, who's been with me for 7 years, my coaching staff, I think it's never been better. So I'm very excited not only about the additions I've had on the player side, but those 2 guys in particular joining the staff is going to be a great addition to our university.
You added San Diego State late on the schedule. What were your thoughts? Was that a thing in progress, or was it just kind of it both happened?
Well, anytime we can play, a Mountain West team, we were able to. We've played San Diego State twice, and I wanted to stop it at that because we're 2-0 against San Diego State, which is really hard to do. But we got a home and home with them, so you got to take it, and they got a great program there. Same thing with New Mexico. We got a home and home with New Mexico, so we're going to New Mexico this year. We're going to San Diego State, and we'll have them both back at Grand Canyon. So anytime you can play that type of program and that type of game in a home situation, it's only going to build your brand and your program. So it'll be very challenging for us this year to go to those 2 places, 2 really, really hard places to play. We've been there before. And then to have them come back and play on campus is huge for us.
This question's from Richard Obert. How much closer do you feel you are to becoming a top 25 program?
That's our goal eventually. The first thing we have to do is win the WAC. And, since we've been here 7 years, the WAC continues to get better and better, and it's extremely hard. New Mexico State is the best team in the WAC, win 30 games last year, had a chance to beat Auburn in the first game and goes to the Final Four. So I think our program is right where it needs to be. It continues to get better. Our recruiting has continued to pick up. We're adding better players, as like I said, our coaching staff. So it's a process. We have to have patience, but we're right on track to where we want to go.
Coach, how much closer do you feel that you're to becoming a top 25 program?
I'm
sorry.
That's all right.
Will you answer who's going to replace Jared's energy from last year?
Oh, wow. You can't replace Jared. Jared was our heart and soul for 4 years. We were really playing well last year in the league when Jared went down with his torn ACL, and we lost 3 in a row. after he got hurt. So that just kind of tells you the backbone of what he did for our team. So we got a lot of guys who are going to have to step up and produce that energy. But as I said, we got guys that can do it. We got the 3 guys returning, and the guys that I think that are new, especially the guys that have been here last year, understand what's at stake. So I expect it to be everybody jump in and have that kind of energy and play with that kind of passion.
Like all conferences, the WAC has been greatly impacted by the high uptick in player transfers. How difficult is it to combat all this player movement, and what are you doing to adjust?
Well, fortunately, we haven't had a lot of people leave. Grand Canyon is a special place, and not a lot of kids, once they get there, see a value in leaving that university. Not only because of the basketball atmosphere, the crowd that we play in front of, but just because of the university, the students, the campus life. Our job is just to be as good as we can and have a mission. And our guys, the guys I recruit, understand. Just like when I signed that paper 7 years ago, my mission was to be a top 25 team and to take us to the tournament. And our guys are doing the same thing. So when they join our team, they don't feel like it's for a year. If I'm better, I'm going to go someplace else. They know that they're part of something a lot bigger themselves, and they really want to take us to the tournament. And they understand that that player, that team that moves Grand Canyon's needle, once we get to the NCAA tournament, it's going to be a special group.
So 2 years eligible for the WAC tournament, 2 years in the championship game. Mm-hmm. What's it going to take to get over that hump and win the WAC tournament?
You just got to get better. Like I said, it's not an easy thing. We had a battle this year to beat a really good Seattle team and then be able to beat the Utah Valley team and then run into a team like New Mexico State, who we played very close the first 2 games, in the conference season, and they just boat raced us in the tournament. We were a little tired, and they were that good. So we just got to continue to focus and get better and understand what's at stake. So I think it really helps that we were able to get to the finals for 2 years in a row. Our guys understand how that feels, and they know they're going against not only New Mexico State. Like I said, the whole league has gotten better. So it's not New Mexico State; it's the whole league. UTRGV, Seattle, Bakersfield, Utah Valley, all those teams are going to be really good. So it's going to be a battle, but that's what we wanted.
All righty, Coach. Well, we wish you the best of luck this season, and thank you for coming down and chatting with us today.
Lopes up.
Lopes up. All right, that concludes our final day of the WAC basketball preview here in Denver, Colorado. Again, we thank Dan Marley and the rest of the coaches for coming out today, and all of you guys that tuned in on the WAC Digital Network and Facebook Live. We'll see you guys next time.